When I travel to conferences, I'm asked one thing. I'm asked a few things. I'm always asked one thing. Do you have the support of senior administration on your campus for deepening and expanding civic engagement? Can you talk to your campus's president if you need to? Does he see what you are doing as part of the broader mission of the university? My happy answer to all of these is, oh yes. That President Brodhead has DukeEngage as part of who he is, part of what Duke is and part of what Duke is becoming. We talk frequently about successes and challenges, about the experimental nature of DukeEngage, and about ideas for the future. President Brodhead, perhaps most impressive of all, knows so many students who have done DukeEngage that he's often sharing stories with me about, did you hear about the student who did this last summer? So I'm very grateful for all of President Brodhead's support and advice and his willingness to help us kick off what no other university in the country has ever tried, an intensive 2.5-day immersion into the joys and challenges of civic engagement. I'll now ask President Brodhead to share a few words with us.
I'll begin with my thanks to Eric and everybody who's worked with him in shaping this program today and creating the event you're about to participate in. And then I'll share with you my second thought. When I walked in, I was thinking about what I was going to say on this occasion, but I hadn't really realized that when I got to the upper door there, this is exactly the human spectacle that I would be facing. It's like the greatest class you ever taught or something like that. I mean, here you all are, and it's just so exciting to see this program embodied in the actual individuals and community that this program forms. Well, now it starts. I go back and I say this. Eric mentioned, this program is not that old. 2 years ago and 2 months, this program was announced. It was rolled out. 3 years ago, there was no such concept as the program DukeEngage. So it's really been an amazing thing to think that 2 summers ago we had a pilot group, and last summer we had 350, and now by you, it's just like old stuff, right, to have these things in the summer. I'm sure you understand that DukeEngage is not primarily a extracurricular activity or a way for you to solve the problem of how I'm going to spend this summer or what I'm going to tell people I'm doing this summer. The program DukeEngage is conceived as having a kind of philosophy of education under it, and I trust that's what you had in mind when you signed up for it. Part of the philosophy is that great universities are great for many purposes, but they also can form a bubble in which people know only people with certain fabulous traits in common with themselves and don't learn that much about the rest of the people of the world. Also, that people can form the impression that the reason you learn things in college is so you can do well in college and then go on to the next place where you can learn things and do well. But actually, that's an extremely shallow estimation of the purposes of education. We hope you're learning things so that they will build the powers that you can actually use in the world, wherever you live later on and in whatever career, to make things happen and to make better things happen instead of worse. And I take it, certainly we have in mind for this program too, to be a chance for you to learn something about yourself, namely that it is in your power to accomplish things, in your power to use your knowledge in such a way as working with others to make things happen in the world. Now, it's been fun that this program has rolled out, that already all of you are in this program. That's great to me. There was an event in New York last fall, you may have read about it, called the Service Nations Summit, in which all kinds of new ways of engaging people or deploying civic power towards solving civic problems were put on display. Then candidate McCain spoke at that event, then candidate Obama spoke at that event, and then President Brodhead spoke at that event. Because, well, I mean, I was already president. And well, I might have, because it was this program that was being showcased. And it is a pretty amazing program. But now let me go on to make the point, and it's the only point I want you to remember from my comments today, which is this. This program has a philosophy and it has a name, but none of the philosophy will come to pass except as you make it happen, right? And so there's no guarantee, now that you've been accepted in the program, that you are going to get the benefits of this program. It's all a matter of what you do next. And you could visualize two ways that you could arrive at the place where you're going. The first would illustrate what I might call the egotism of humanitarianism. You arrive, here I am, problem solved, right? Clever, somewhat cocky student from Duke. Who are you? Oh, I know you. You're a problem. Who am I? I know me. I am the solution. And in a few weeks, you will have been transformed, and I can go away and tell everyone that I have made the world a better place. This would actually be a fairly easy attitude to have in some measure in your thinking. But I can't imagine that anyone who goes through this summer on the basis of that attitude is going to get very much out of this program, and certainly not what we had in mind for this program. You're going to have to do things that are fairly hard for people in any circumstance, and that are very hard for people like you. You have been so successful all your life, right? But now you're actually entering an experience where the skill you're going to need is actually more humility than it is self-confidence. And I mean this in several ways. Wherever you're going this summer, the point is there are humans there who are as human as you, but they don't think the way that you do. They don't live their lives the way that you do. And how are you going to get the value of being in that setting? You're only going to get it if you practice and continue to practice the act of opening yourself, of trying to project yourself out of who you are and seeing others from that point of view, and try to project yourself into the different ways of living, the different ways of talking, the different ways of thinking and feeling and valuing things that they'll be surrounded with. And second, you can't just get to that place and assume, I am so smart, I'm going to be able on day one to help you solve some critical problem. You're going to find when you get out there, you have to learn that new world to learn which of your skills are actually helpful. You know, it's a funny and humiliating, I don't mean humiliating in the bad way, a humbling, that's the word I mean, experience to actually have there be a suspenseful interval in which you really don't know how anything in your head is going to be of any help in this place, and in which you have to work with others to learn what your education is good for. I promise you it will be good for something, but if you know what it's... Yeah, but the whole thing is, you're going to know at the end of the summer in a way you cannot know now what that education could be good for, and you will learn it by opening yourself to this, to this process. I remember a student, the first year I was president, gave a fantastic talk on the eve of graduation where she said one thing she had learned by being at Duke was, if you want to change the world, first you have to understand something about it. And you know, this is true, so please don't criticize yourself if you know, everybody has not been cured of every known ailment the day after you arrive at wherever you're going. The third thing I'd say is this. It falls on you. We can't make it happen. It falls on you to make this experience be part of your continuing life. It'll be very easy for you to compartmentalize it as how I spent the summer and then come back to school and just resume life as you used to know it. But that won't be the interesting way to have this experience, will it? The interesting way is when you come back to keep thinking about it from time to time. The meaning of experience is not discovered at the moment of experience. It's discovered as it replays itself and replays itself in the contents of your later reflection. And when you come back, I do hope, I can't say now what you should do different when you come back, but if you come back, you're able to resume life as you practiced it before you went there, then something won't have happened, will it? And so I hope that if it's worth your while to engage in the work of creating the world in the summer, you'll feel it's also worth engaging in that work when you come back. I'm now done. I need some exit line. Does anyone have a suggestion? I thought of one. How many of you are sophomores? Okay, so I gave a talk about engagement. Do you remember this? Please tell me you remember. We were all in the chapel yes, woo, that's what I was about to say. You remember that talk was all about how you could have exactly the same Duke career and do it in a relatively disengaged or relatively more engaged way. I'm taking it that you chose option 2. And you remember what I said at the end of that? That you could call your parents and say, Mom, Dad, I'm engaged. This has been, my message to you today has been, you have the possibility of engagement by having been selected for DukeEngage, but to have the reality of it, you are going to have to figure out how to engage yourself, your humanity, your curiosity, your knowledge, and all the rest. I look forward to seeing you in the fall. People do come up and tell me what they did in the summer, and I look forward to you putting that on your list of things to do too. Have a fantastic time. Thanks.